Back here on First Things First, and we are going viral. Saturday night's dunk contest was surrounded by controversy. Plenty of people voicing that Aaron Gordon should have won over Derrick Jones Jr. LeBron tweeting, 2 trophies should have been awarded tonight. That's darn sure. Keep it a buck, y'all. Then both put on a show. Professional dunkers. I can read. Patrick Mahomes added, give my man Aaron Gordon a trophy already. And Karl Anthony Towns tweeted out this picture of a robber's ski mask with a hashtag dunk contest. Pretty controversial night, guys.
I'm with Kat. Look, Derrick Jones was great, but I think Aaron Gordon should have 2 dunk championships, and he's got none. He's been one of the best dunkers we've ever seen in this contest. You agree, Doug?
Yeah, he's great.
Top 5 at least. I mean, maybe top 3. All-time performances? I get it. He's not the name that Mike and Dominique and all that.
Start with Vince.
But the dunks he's doing?
Start with Vince. Then we'll work through everybody else, okay?
Look,
so there's Vince Carter.
Is the best game dunker of all time. And then were his dunks better than Aaron Gordon's?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes. And then
I got to admit,
and then there's Jordan. And remember, the thing about Jordan that everybody forgets is, like, he didn't miss dunks. Like, back then, it was extra punitive when you missed dunks.
That's why they didn't do all this crazy
stuff. Right, in the Nate Robinson era, there's too many missed dunks.
19 missed.
Oh, man, it's terrible.
I like it. Look, Vince, best game dunker ever. These dunks, the creativity these dudes are coming up with is ridiculous.
Is the best. Just say Vince is the best dunker ever, and then we'll have a
game dunker. Game dunker.
Period.
He didn't do this stuff. I'm sorry. I love Vince. I know my generation is mad at me. The millennials love me right now. Nobody was doing this stuff.
I like the creativity. We're going to move on to the 76ers. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Philly came into the season among the favorites to win the East, but the Sixers find themselves in 5th place, 12.5 games back of the Bucks, leading many to suggest that Embiid and Ben Simmons flat out don't work together. Embiid is having none of that. Take a listen.
I think it's BS because when you look at the last couple of years, the last 2 years that we've been playing together, it was not a problem. This year is only a problem because at times our offense has struggled, and I think he's definitely going to be better after the All-Star break. But I mean, you just look at the last 2 years, what we've been able to do, and I think he can walk, and he's going to walk.
Chris, can they make this work?
Look, first of all, I like what both guys are saying. You know, Embiid, you just saw that. Ben Simmons said essentially the same thing at the All-Star game. And they didn't seem like they were just giving the politically correct answer. They seem like they mean it. I know they aren't great friends. They've got different personalities. Some people have told me that, they're jealous of each other. Each one wants to be the man in the locker room or at least on the team and all that. Whatever the case. But I like that they want to make it work. At least they're saying that they want to make it work. And I think it's sincere. There is a problem. I mean, they're not the best fit. You would think great guy that can play point guard, great big man, it should fit. But it really doesn't because Simmons is so horrible shooting the ball and just won't even take the shots. If he take them, jump shots, it might help a little. And Embiid mentioned this about a month ago. He said, look, everybody jumps on me for shooting threes. I don't like seeing him shoot all these threes. But in the fourth quarters especially, in the playoffs especially, they want both their best players on the court in the fourth quarter down the stretch. So to do that, they have to put Simmons down on the block so the other team will guard him. Because if they don't put him on the block, they're not going to guard him. And then because of that, today's NBA, you got to have spacing. That leads Embiid to go out by the three-point line or long two-point jump shots. And he might as well be 6'5" at that point. And so that is a huge problem because you're sitting there, why don't they go inside the Embiid? Why don't they put him inside? Well, Ben Simmons is there. And then also Simmons likes to run. He's best in transition, driving the basketball. Embiid clogs up the lane a little bit, so that's a problem for him. But look, I'm with Philly. Give it the rest of this season. If you go out early in the playoffs, first or second round, or even if you get blown away in the conference finals, then I'm doing one of two things. Bringing in another coach that I believe or know can maximize these two guys together and their personalities, or I'm looking to trade Embiid and seeing what I can get for him on the open market.
I think the coaching part is the big thing. And remember, as much as Brett Brown has a relationship with Ben Simmons that goes back to coaching his dad in Australia, the fact is this is not the job that Brett Brown was brought in for, right? He was brought in to stabilize things. You know,
he did a great job today.
He did. Right. But now we need a big boy coach, right? Now we need a playoff coach. Now we need a coach. I mean, there's a lot of Shaq and Kobe here, right? They had two different personalities, two different egos, obviously a bigger market, but they were young, and Del Harris was a good coach, but Del Harris wasn't a championship coach for those two guys. The question would be, is there the guy out there? And two, can you make it work? It's not just the post where you want to play Ben Simmons. There's an area called, some people call it the dunk, some people call it the porch. It's actually kind of below the level of the back.
It's not,
right, that's where you play Rondo, really.
By the basket,
right. So but that really works if your other great player is at least a driver or a shooter, because nowadays the NBA's game has changed. You can't have cloggers, guys that clog up the lane. You can't have more than one. The Bucks don't, right? The Bucks, the only guy that's not a shooter is Giannis, and then they put shooters all around him. Same thing with the Rockets, right? They don't want they have all shooters around Russell Westbrook. Right. The Lakers kind of get away with a little bit because LeBron can shoot, and they'll roll Anthony Davis. But it's one of the things that sometimes they struggle with their offense is that they have too many non-shooters, if you will, on the floor at once. So I think it'll be hard. Do I think it could work? Yes. I don't think Brett Brown's the right coach. And I'm with you. I think this extends not just to this season, but probably whoever the new coach is for next season, and they'll try and reformulate it.
Yeah, I think that's look, I like a Mark Jackson. We know he hadn't been able to get a job anywhere. Maybe a Jeff Van Gundy. I know it's been 10 years since he's coached, but there are guys out there that I would look at.
And Mike Breen could be an assistant, right? You just bring all three of them out there, they argue different stuff.
But I'm with you in that it's preferable to just bring in a new coach, because if you're Philadelphia, I get it. You hate to break these two up because of the potential. But they also got to get somebody to get through to Ben Simmons. I don't know if it's a mental block or what, but you've got to get somebody to get through to him so he'll at least take the jump shots. Even if you don't make a lot of them, take them. That'll open things up.
Yes. I mean, that's you almost, and look, you can look at my shooting numbers, and somebody say, well, you couldn't shoot at all. Well, obviously, I wouldn't have gotten to where I got if I couldn't
You were
shoot.
nice in high school with the jumper.
Right, and, in the summer and in practice, whatever, and he gets to be a mental block. But the only way to get out of that is where you take a guy out when he turns down an open jump shot. It's like the opposite. Normally, you take a guy out when he takes a bad shot. Like, no, dude, Ben, if you don't take in the first quarter of a Tuesday night game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, you don't take open threes in range, in rhythm, then we're going to take you out. Okay? Yep. Until you get to the mental thing, like I have my Avery Johnson. Remember, he got cut 3 times by the Spurs. Now he's never a three-point shooter, but he got his spots where he could make it. And that's all Ben Simmons. Just get a spot. Just get 2 spots where you get to your spot, and all of a sudden we have to. If you do that, he has limitless potential. My problem is you're talking about moving on from Embiid. My concerns with Embiid are only health. I can make the argument he's the most talented dude in the NBA. Like, he's a better shooter than Giannis. He's a true post player. He's a rim defender. Now, he's not the ball handler of Giannis, okay, but he does but he's an unbelievable post scorer because of his agility.
He could be a force in this league.
He could be.
I mean, you see what Zion's doing.
I'm telling you, he could be the best player in the league, but one, we don't know if Simmons is holding him back or if he's holding himself back, because you do have these swings where he just, especially in the road, he no-shows for a night.
What is your thought on how good they look without Embiid? I think they were 6-3. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but, Simmons looks like a different player.
Well, it's
much more aggressive.
Right.
They win some games. Do you think they can? Because remember, you would get a haul for Embiid. It's not like you could get a ton.
Yes, you get a ton for either one of these guys. Like
more for Embiid, to your point.
Yes, because I think most people in the league believe, because he's so much better as a shooter, and he's also rim protector, whereas Simmons doesn't really offer nearly as much resistance.
Great defender, but not a rim defender. But he's a really good defender. He could be a point center.
Look, if you put him on the Bucks, he would be better because you have so much more space.
He'd be
right?
like Giannis.
Or that's the whole idea. He's a better passer than Giannis, but he hasn't been willing to shoot the basketball like Giannis is, even if Giannis is not a great shooter. So you're really stuck there. Whoever you trade, you got to be very cautious and make sure you're getting a bunch back in return. It's just hard when we've
to
seen NBA teams with 2 stars struggle in the past, change coaches, they evolve, guys become better shooters, they figure it out, and I wonder if that's what Philadelphia.
And quickly, they're 25-2 at home, and they've beaten all the top 4 teams in each conference.
So they have it
that
in
shows
them.
you,
They
right?
have it in them.
I want to see better role play the second half of the season. If they do that, then I'm thinking they're gonna be tough to beat in the playoffs.
It'll be interesting to watch play out. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, but coming up, did Aaron Gordon get robbed at the dunk contest? We think so. That's next on First Things First.